Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 10 in the book of Titus. I'm going to title today, We've Got People in the Water. Basically, this is a man overboard situation. And so we need to get the church fixed up. We need to get the ship ordered, if you will, because of our heart for the people that are still in the water. So we're in a section where Paul is writing to Titus and saying, you got to put the church in order. You got to get the leadership structure in order. Why? Because you need to be ready. Stuff is happening, and we need to be a functioning church. Listen in here. It's going to start at the very end of chapter 2 and then spill over to chapter 3 in the book of Titus. Chapter 2 finishes, last sentence, verse 15, declare these things, exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no one disregard you. So he's saying to Titus, you've got, tell the church, talk to them, speak to them, declare this out, because we got some things that are going to need to be done, and exhort them, implore them. Remember, this word means encourage, which is kind of a call from the sidelines, but it's also, remember the Jim Redmond story from the Olympics, where it's a call to one side, where it's not just an exhortation, it's also an invitation. And there's going to be some rebuke, there's going to be some exposing, bringing to light, reproving and conviction, but doing it with authority. Now, this is imposing, and the instruction comes with some imposition, with leaders that are accountable. All right, then we get back into the submission issue in chapter 3. Remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work. And then he's going to describe what it's like to be living the adorned gospel Christian life. Here it is. Speak evil of no one, avoid quarreling, be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people, compassion towards people. Why? Well, for we ourselves were once this way, foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves to various passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating one another. So we were the guys in the water, and now we need to be a functioning church because we're going to have we're going to see other people in the water. All right, let's remind ourselves, and he says to do this, remind them to be submissive. What is submissive? It's the voluntary relational attachment of myself under a designated person, acting in a designated role that demonstrates an imperishable internal adornment before God. A submissive person is a beautiful person before God. And so how do I know this internal thing? Well, look at their behaviors. Wives to husbands, children to parents, workers to bosses, citizens towards their government, and Christians towards their overseers, elders, pastors. Obey those in authority. I was thinking about, if you think this is a problem in our society, just go to a high school basketball game and see how the referee is treated in that game. That's my favorite image. All right, the deal here is you have to get this authority structure right. You have to get it out of the way. Why, if it's a constant issue, if every day is a day where the question of the church to the pastor is, hey, you're not the boss of me, or you're not the boss of me in this issue, we have to get past that. It's a significant issue in our society and in the ancient society. This is just a little bit of an exaggeration, but not very much. Submission is on every page of the book of Titus. It's on every page of the book of 1 Timothy. It's on every page of the book of Ephesians. It's on every page of the book of 1 Peter. So it's not just our society, their society too. So if every single day you're asking the question, wait, you're not the boss of me. The purpose is you got to get this right so you can be an effective team. In fact, it says that you need to be ready. Be ready for every good work. So submission is a way to adorn the gospel and live out gospel living. It's a way to be beautiful before God. And yes, it's going to be in this imperfect world. So when someone submits to your office or position of authority, it can elicit, yes, the downside is it can elicit pride or power or profit. But I think those are generally the exceptions. If you have, when this is done right, the person who has the authority ends up with humility and service and care and concern and, yes, accountability. So the deal is, we got stuff to do. We got people in the water. We need to be, ready and a functioning team. So I'm thinking about a rebellious teenager. So, let's say you have some issue with schoolwork, and today, but the teenager doesn't have the authority issue right, and so the issue of the day isn't schoolwork, it's rebellion. And then the next day, let's say the issue is something about work. And again, the issue that the teenager brings up is a rebellion issue. Or let's say there's another relationship that needs to be discussed. And again, you're not effective in dealing with that because the issue of that day is, again, rebellion. So if you get the rebellion issue right in a family, or in children to parents, or wives to husbands, or church to church members, it's why do we have bosses? Why do we have parents? Why do we have mayors? Why do we have police? Well, it's because we got stuff to do. So here, what kind of stuff? Well, speak evil, avoid quarreling, be gentle, which is Jesus' characteristic, show perfect courtesy, which means be considerate, compassionate to the knuckleheads that are still in the water. And why should we be especially compassionate? Well, verse 3, because we ourselves were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slave to passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, and hated by others and hating one another. We were just like it. So don't be prideful, be compassionate. So the big issue here is, why do we put things in order? Why? Because we got stuff to do, and we got knuckleheaded people still in the water. We got to fix the submission issue. Why? Because we got stuff to do. We got people in the water. We got knuckleheads out there that can't rescue themselves. So let's fix this issue of who's the boss so we can be ready, because we got people in the water. Thanks for listening.